And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the world. It's I, John D and Kanika AKA and Too Much Podcast. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well today, thank you.
How was your week?
The week was bumpy. We welcomed our nephew back home. Enrolling in school and managing all things that kids need is just not it. You know what, though? It's been a long time since I've had to do this because you enrolled them in you did the last enrollment. So when they were asking me for stuff, I was like, you don't have that. you can't use this or use it. So, yeah, that was a little different. But, yeah. So I guess in the last week, what have I done? I've painted 2 rooms. So I paint his room. The room that we're supposed to be recording in is about to get set up. So I'm glad that that's done. I look forward to that room.
For sure.
Yeah. You?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing pretty well. I got an offer for a new job opportunity, and I'm in a process of just waiting to see what this negotiation and pay is going to look like.
You know, and that's interesting because coming from education, you don't negotiate.
Yeah.
But that's new. So why don't you talk about how that makes you feel, though? Because most people, like, I don't know, I see a whole bunch of stuff on social media that talks about negotiation and interviews and all this other stuff with hiring. But that was one thing I learned coming out of teaching was that you ain't no negotiation. You just hear.
Yeah.
And if you don't get a raise, you don't get a raise because they kind of weren't doing that. So how do you feel about that now?
You know, I feel like I shouldn't have to negotiate because I feel like I've checked off all the boxes and, like, I don't know. We'll see how this goes because it's definitely a different feeling. I feel like I know I'm supposed to be able to represent myself, but I feel like my resume should say, or my references should, like, do my talking. I shouldn't have to, like,
right.
I don't know, but
it's everybody's goal to pay the least amount for the most.
No, I get it, but I feel like this one is probably the ones you're about to just bypass because they're getting somebody that really is trying to make a difference, like want to, like, make an impact like no other.
Yeah.
Like with intent, you know, and it's like what I've been practicing, and I'll be able to do it with real live people, like just helping people believe in themselves on purpose. So hopefully that can happen a little sooner than later.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm happy to welcome the nephew back also. You know, the parents that we've become,
yeah.
I think we can legitimately give him an opportunity to enjoy the remainder of his K through 12 experience and say that his childhood wasn't so up and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. And but overall I'm happy. I mean, like, I'm always happy. Mm-hmm. Watching you complete 2 rooms was pretty good because I definitely did the least amount of work for these rooms. You know, I look, I'm not gonna lie, like, I want to help her in every way possible. But a lot of times she's doing things during the times where I'm supposed to be being productive, and then it's just out of my tool house. Like, I'm not really good at these things. Like, I feel like it's busy work. I do, but I love seeing things come together. I do.
Busy work seems like stuff you do just to
I know,
buy
the past
some
time.
Yeah, but
I know it, I guess because I'm not good at it.
Oh.
And I feel like I'm always probably using more paint than I have to, and I'm going over because I feel like this part doesn't look like this, and then it's just it makes me feel that's why I said I'm impressed with how far you've come. But the way that you talk, you act like you've been doing it all your life.
No.
Yeah, because she was like, you know, I'm frustrated because I have these, like, you're a
Yeah.
new painter too. What he's like,
I know.
you painted like 3 or 4 walls in your life, and you out here talking
I'm
about
salty. I know. I am.
I know that's crazy.
Yeah, can't help that. But
No, but what I wanted to talk about today, I want to know, how have your expectations in our relationship changed from the very beginning, with whatever, I guess, the purest intentions of your expectations that you thought versus today? How have they changed?
Oh, okay. So we've talked a number of times where I've said, I grew up, my mom did everything. And my expectation in a relationship with you was really just, I wanted to be loved, but I didn't expect you to do like anything above and beyond. That's from my past. And what I mean by that is like physical affection, definitely. I used to tell John all the time, we would walk places and he wouldn't hold my hand and he wouldn't walk near me. Like I'd be like, all right, cousin, because he would walk so far ahead of me. And I think you kind of taught me that there were certain things that I was going to get and what I wasn't going to get. So my expectations kind of lowered in regards to even the affectionate part. I knew that I wanted more affection and physical interaction with someone because I didn't see it with my parents. But with you, it was like a limited kind that you were willing to give. So my expectations shifted again on what I was going to get there. But I never expected, I had hoped for, I used to see my stepdad like take care of my mom, and when he took her out, it was like she was the most precious thing he had with her. And I wanted that, but I didn't know if I should expect that type of stuff. And early on, I didn't get that, so I figured that was like a fluke situation. I don't know, not everybody gets that, so it's okay. But as you've grown and as I've grown, my expectations, like I joked last week at dinner with my family, I was saying, now I almost only bring one brain cell when I go places with you because you drive me there. I don't have to worry about what we're doing or where we're going or if I'm taking care of. I get to just kind of float around and let's go here. And then you take me and you walk around and talk to me while we go through stores and stuff. It's, there's so much more interaction with you. I learned that I wasn't going to have a friend, and now I do. So now if I'm going places, my expectation is if I'm grabbing keys, you probably somewhere where I am to go with me. And I like that. I like feeling like I have a partner. Like, people would talk about, I married my best friend. I never understood that.
Me neither.
But I understand it now to be able to say, oh, because he's going to spend this time with me or he's going to do this or do that with me. Like, I get it now. But before, I was like, okay, well, that sounds great. So my expectations, I feel like it's a complete turnaround. Before, I felt like our interaction was, even at one point, we were co-parenting more than we were partnering at all. And I feel like we partner first and then we co-parent, which is really different. And I really like it. And I know a lot of people used to say stuff like, you need to tend to your relationship with your spouse before you worry about the kids, because women's tendency is to worry about the kids and the spousal relationship kind of withers, but the kids flourish. And so now I understand that if you're able to really nurture that spousal relationship, the kids are going to flourish anyway. And then it almost gives you more brain power, more energy to put toward the kids rather than how we were doing it before. So very different for me. What about for you?
I guess when it was so simple, the hamster wheel we were in, I just thought that's what it was gonna be. I felt like we were gonna do like a trip once a year. I didn't see us growing because I didn't even know. I didn't even consider that.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that over time we was just gonna keep doing that. Like our kids were gonna just have a better life than us. But I didn't. I saw myself. I didn't see you and I developing a relationship that we have today. There's not in a million years that I didn't think I could have a relationship with a person the way that I have with you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because like the messaging I got, nobody, people say these things but they never tell you how to get there. And just thinking now where we are, I'm really like I'm flabbergasted. Like just because this is just like remember when we at our anniversary and we reflected a year before and just how much we've grown. It's like it just continues to flourish, like our relationship.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the day-to-day interaction. So I think that's like the biggest thing is that I was looking for a monotonous life for some reason because I just didn't see. I saw us having fun on those trips we went, gone on, or going to visit the kids, but I didn't see it looking like this on a day-to-day basis.
But it's still monotonous.
To me, it isn't because it's always something different we're talking about. Monotonous means like.
I was thinking like we walk the dogs this time, we do this.
But our conversations change the walk. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So. If we're talking about the same things, like, are we gonna talk about anything different? Like we always talk.
Always talking about bills and dinner.
Yeah, we don't complain very often, and if we do, it's like, how can it stop? Or at least that's what I'm thinking.
How can I make this end?
Yeah. But now the expectation I have is just that it just continues to grow on purpose, because with the intent of seeing how much we've grown to this point, it keeps me committed to the process.
Okay.
Like, I genuinely enjoy your company, and I will say I've learned so much about you that I'll kind of wonder who knows these things about you. Like I can just watch. I remember recently speaking with your brother, and he told me one of their tales. And
one of your tales.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I never recognized that. And then I realized that there's so many things that I just didn't put together because I didn't. And then I learned that much. I was like, I learned more about my wife that day. And now it's like every day, like I'm learning more and more about you.
Well, and it's interesting that one little story that we've never had a conversation that led to it could teach you about me. It just lets you know there's so many little experiences that I've had that have shaped me, and same for you. And there are a million different stories that have gone on in your life that I don't know about that would better inform me about you. Like, why does he do that? If I knew that story, I would know.
Yeah.
So I guess it's always a learning experience.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I would give anybody who's tuning in, listening, is that the more you spend time with a person, the more you learn why you like them. And I'll say this. I do believe you can like somebody if you learn who that person is, regardless. Because if you learn how they got there, then you'll be more empathetic. And you'll be like, dang, this person's a really good person. They went through a whole lot. So when people's like, that's my person, I believe everybody, if they talk to them enough, they could find out why that person's their person. But if you don't talk that much and you do what we used to do, I think you could get burnt out in the idea that the relationship is supposed to grow when you're not doing anything to help it grow. So I feel like our conversations on a daily basis allows us to grow, just explaining those little moments that you don't get to see when we're not together. So yeah, so what do you expect to go on from here? Like looking back and watching our relationship evolve into a podcast that allows us to share our experiences. What do you think? Or what would you like to see that maybe I'm not seeing? Does that make sense? Like, I wasn't really on purpose, but
I tell him that sometimes women say, "Does that make sense?" when they're saying stuff, and it bothers me because they're very clear, and sometimes they say it as like a pass. I don't even know how to describe it, but it gets me sometimes. So when he said, "Does that make sense?" I just looked at him.
I just don't want to be misunderstood.
All right, Nina Simone. So, what do I expect this to become?
Yeah, because you had an idea in the beginning and I failed those ideas. So what are your ideas now? Because maybe if I know them, I can get there, because I didn't know you had those ideas before and I failed miserably, correct?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't even know. So now you can share like some expectations.
I don't know. Other than, I think this is uncharted territory for me.
I think it was then too.
It was. But even in, I'm enjoying the natural progression of how things go. Because honestly, I didn't think that it was going to get here. And
did you know here existed?
For some people, I knew it did. Just it wasn't something that I was going to get. But and it's odd to say that, because it seems like you'd be like, okay, if you knew it was possible and you wasn't getting it, why weren't you asking for more? Or why didn't or you leave and go find it somewhere else? I don't know. I guess I was one of those people who I just focused on my relationship with my kids, and that was more than enough for me, because they're just amazing little people. And so I got lost in being a parent rather than being a wife. Now, even when you came back and you were talking all this stuff about how it was going to be different, I was like, yeah, okay. And seeing it now, I'm like, I wouldn't have thought 2 years ago, like the first weekend you came, we fought to the point where I wanted to like leave you in a whole different state. We were like arguing and I was just like, I can't do that. I cannot do this. This is not how I'm going to live my life. And you were, before we got down there, you were saying all these this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. And I just couldn't see it. But I will say, with time and with patience, we progressed to something I didn't think was even in the cards for you and I. So for me to be able to give an idea or expectation of what we're going to go to, I don't know. There were a lot of relationships or marriages of friends that I'd be like, that's what I want. I want to be friends. I want to be this. This looks so fun. It looks like da-da-da-da-da. And that was my goal, my untouchable goal. And to be able to say that I feel that way now is odd. So you're asking me to think beyond what I thought was possible in the first place. I don't necessarily know if I have that yet, if I have an ability to name something. Because, I mean, I don't look to get away from home. I don't look to be like, I don't tell my friends, look, I can't wait to get away from these kids and this man. I don't say that.
Yeah.
So where else is there to go? I don't know.
If we don't talk about it, like I just found out, well, I do know that I failed your expectations, but to actually hear it, like these expectations, and I'm like, dang, I mean, I didn't even know that was what was in the cards for me, but now I feel like I'm constantly trying to find ways to like fill those holes so that, well, at least I know that we've gotten further than you imagine. you know, and that's something that I believe that everybody should experience, because if people, I think, enjoyed the interaction on the day-to-day like you and I do,
Yeah.
they would be happier in life, I think, you know, like when you know that there's a safe place coming, like whatever you get off work, like the person that I'm going to be with is not going to drive me crazy. And
Yeah.
like, we're going to laugh, we're going to talk about this, but it's like a expectation that it's a safe space, like literally a place of peace.
It is. One of the things I thought was so funny, last night, our nephew asked us, what did he say? How long have y'all been together?
Yeah.
And so I said, I've been about, what was it, 2001, or almost 2001 we met. And it made me flash back to think, this week, I don't know what day it was the first time that I sent you a message and I was like, I cannot wait to tell you what happened today when you get home. And that's the stuff that you call your best friend. You be like, girl, wait until I get to tell you this. And that was the first time that I'd had that moment where I could say that and be like, you will not believe what just happened. So it was when he asked that, and I sat there and thought about it, I'm like, wow, it's been over 20 years. And we've been together for almost, I guess, is this the 17th year? We moved to Atlanta 17 years ago. And that was the first time I did a friend call, a friend text. That was what it was. Just wait until you get home. I gotta tell you, and that was really cool. That was cool.
That's dope.
I know it's little, and y'all might feel that was big for me. So I thought that was really cool.
You know, my expectations is to just enjoy the ride, because I feel like I really do. I enjoy day to day with you. Mm-hmm. Like, so, I mean, I can't even give anything other. That's the simplest thing, isn't it? Like, I really just enjoy the person that I'm with on a day-to-day basis. Like, even it's to the point where, like, when you enjoy what you do at work and then you come home and it's like the whole day is just good, and then you just go to sleep to, like, just give thanks and rejuvenate and do it better the next day. And to get here with you, I feel so blessed, because our kids are genuinely watching happiness in two people who knows it. You know, it's not like we're in the hamster wheel of like just we're enjoying each other's company. So I enjoy doing that for all of the healthiest years to come.
Yeah.
Anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here? No doubt. Well, y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.